The follicular phase is like your inner spring. It's new beginnings and a fresh start. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cece. If you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the internet where I share things about my life and the things that I'm learning to inspire you and to help you grow into the best version of yourself. Last week I shared a pretty long video about the introduction to cycle syncing. What is cycle syncing? How to get started? What are the phases, etc. And so over the next few videos, over the next few weeks, I want to dive a little bit deeper into each phase, how you can support your hormones in each phase, what's going on, what foods work the best, what exercise works the best, things like that. So a little outline of today's video. We're going to talk about what is the follicular phase and what's going on in your body, what foods are best supportive for this phase, what kind of exercise is the most supportive, what kind of work is the most supportive, or I actually like to call it your superpowers in this phase. And then last, we'll touch on fertility. So first off, what is the follicular phase? The follicular phase of your cycle begins the day right after your bleed, leading up to the day or two before your ovulation. So it can last anywhere from about 7 to 10 days, just depending on how long your cycle is. And what's going on in your body? So after your bleed, your hypothalamus signals the pituitary gland to shuttle a little hormone called FSH down to your ovaries, or follicle stimulating hormone, to your ovaries to start to mature an egg. The other important hormone that is beginning to rise in this phase is estrogen. So what estrogen does when it begins to rise is initiates the new building of your uterine lining or your endometrium to host the new egg that will be getting released in a later phase of your cycle. So this is what's going on inside of your body during the follicular phase. Next, we'll talk about what to eat in the follicular phase. The follicular phase, like I said, is your inner spring, right? So think about fresh, light, vibrant foods. Think lighter cooking methods like sauteing or steaming. Think bright veggies like carrots and broccoli and zucchini, lean proteins like chicken and eggs, and maybe lighter fish like trout. Think citrus fruits, bright citrus fruits, lemons, limes, grapefruits, also avocado, all these bright, delicious, fresh foods. It's also really important to focus on foods that have something called phytoestrogens. A phytoestrogen is a plant-based compound that mimics the body's natural estrogen. So these are found in foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, flax seeds, miso, and tempeh. These foods are super important to support the metabolism of estrogen in our body so we don't have excess estrogen build up in the gut. Because when we have an estrogen dominance in later phases of our cycle, this is what often causes our major period symptoms like breast swelling, maybe acne, other things like that. That is largely due to estrogen dominance. So it's really important to get these estrogen metabolizing foods in our body to support the making of estrogen and also support it being released out of our body. I'm not going to go through the full list of foods here, but I actually did make a PDF of all of the follicular phase supporting foods. So if you click the link in the description, you can download the PDF of that list. Next, we'll talk about what kind of work is most supportive in this phase. Or I like to also think of it as your superpower. Creativity is such a strength in this phase. Remember, it's all about new beginnings and new fresh starts. So brainstorming, dreaming big, making plans for the future is all super amazing to do in this phase. Also, with that estrogen on the rise, it boosts your brain's memory capabilities. So if you can, in your work life, plan your most mentally strenuous tasks. Try to plan it during your follicular phase. It'll just be a little bit easier, come a little bit more naturally, and you'll be able to complete the task a little bit easier. Again, it's all about that fresh start, clarifying your vision, taking one of your ideas and bringing it to life, starting a new idea, maybe reaching out to new clients or getting a new project off the ground is great time in this phase. Again, with the estrogen rising, your communication is also going to be better. So if you need to make a video or film a podcast or give a presentation, maybe have a hard conversation, these are all going to be easier in the follicular phase. These are going to be your superpower in the follicular phase. Good communication, high creativity, stronger mental capacity for hard tasks. These are your superpowers in the follicular phase. Last, we'll talk about fertility. So if you are using the fertility awareness method for birth control, you will be tracking things like your temperature and your cervical fluid. So in the follicular phase, your cervical fluid is going to start out dry. So those first few days after your period, you will most likely have little to none or very dry cervical fluid, and you'll know this by looking in your underwear. And then as you get closer and closer to ovulation, you will notice your cervical fluid becoming wetter and wetter and becoming more prominent. Now, it's different for every woman, so it's super important to track your cervical fluid patterns in whatever app that you're using, so you know when you are fertile and when you are not. Although no egg is present during this time, you can technically get pregnant 5 days up until your ovulation, when the egg will be present. And this is because sperm can live in your body for up to 5 days, especially when that cervical fluid is fertile. So when it's wet, sticky, and moist is the fertile cervical fluid. That sperm can survive up to 5 days in. So if you're tracking your cervical fluid, it will probably be dry the first few days after your period, and then you'll slowly notice it begin to get wetter and wetter. Now, these are the days that are super important, so if you are trying to get pregnant, these would be your go time days, right? If you are trying to avoid pregnancy, these would be days that you would abstain from unprotected sex. Again, this will vary for each woman, so I can't tell you exactly how many days that you are going to be fertile up until your ovulation. It's all up to you and tracking your cervical fluid. I would highly recommend getting an app if you don't have one and begin to just take a peek in your underwear, or when you wipe in the bathroom, just look at the residue that's on there. If it's dry, if there's nothing, then you're good to go. If there's any sort of wetness, stickiness, if it looks creamy or egg whitey, these typically mean that your cervical fluid is fertile and you are able to get pregnant during these days. So it's super, super, super important to track this for your own body, for yourself, and to learn when you're fertile and when you're not. So that is the follicular phase, you guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on Instagram at ccemarie.s. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more. The rest of the phases are coming soon. I'm super excited to start sharing this information with you guys. It is so important and so empowering to take charge of your fertility, to get to know your body and make it feel so good in all of the seasons, all of the cycles of your body. Because when you're taking care of your body in this way, you develop such a deeper relationship with your intuition, with yourself. It's just so good. I'm obsessed with it, and I hope that you guys give it a try. And if you have any questions, again, please hit me up. Again, that PDF of all the follicular phase foods is linked below. So give that a click, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I love you all.